Are you looking for the best racing wheels? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best racing wheels on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Thrustmaster T-128. The Thrustmaster T-128 is very much an entry-level sim racing product, and its pricing and build reflect that, but it still has a lot of merit as a great first step into sim racing for kids and racing fans on the tightest budgets. The small and entirely plastic rim does feel a little toy-like, as does the small and also entirely plastic 2-pedal set, but you do get real force feedback, and that's a crucial distinction between the T-128 and lower-priced options like the T80. The juice is absolutely not worth the squeeze on super budget options like Thrustmaster T-128 and its equivalents, which operate on bungee-style resistance systems with zero force feedback. If you're thinking about buying one of those, save your money and just stay on a controller. The T-128's small rim diameter may seem a little dinky initially, but it's important when a wheelbase isn't packing a huge torque number, as the closer your hands are to the center of rotation the stronger it will feel. The T-128's 2 Nm of peak torque is certainly modest compared to the power of its more expensive peers, but it's still sufficient enough to communicate enough of the on-track information you'll need to feel your car's behavior and react intuitively. If you do take the plunge and are having fun, the good news is the T-128 can also be augmented with add-ons, like the TH8S shifter, which is a 7-speed plus reverse H-pattern shifter. The pedals can also be upgraded, so you're not locked into just what comes in the box. For those looking for a wheel for trucking and farming sims rather than racing, a bracket system for mounting the T-128 wheelbase horizontally is also available, which also comes with a rotary spinner knob for one-handed operation. Number 2. Logitech G-29. With the Logitech G-29 more expensive on PlayStation than the Xbox version, the Logitech G-29 is a sound alternative choice in this scenario. After a decade on sale, the G-29 might seem positively geriatric, but there are at least several good reasons you can still buy new G-29s. They're robust, they're great bang for your buck, and they remain a very reliable place to start a sim racing journey. With a metal rim, wrapped and stitched, the G-29 does immediately feel a little less toy-like than the Logitech G-29 of hands. The included 3-pedal set is also a class above, with metal pedals and a better overall feel. A rubber stopper mounted behind the brake pedal simulates the building hydraulic force of a brake pedal. The fact that you get a clutch pedal out of the box also means you don't also need to upgrade your pedals if you opt to add Logitech's standalone shifter to your setup later on. Unfortunately, Logitech's standalone shifter has a shorter throw than Thrustmaster's TH8S shifter, and it doesn't feel as good to use. The G29's core weakness, however, is that it does tend to make a bit of a racket at times, particularly when there's a lot of force feedback information being pumped into it. They definitely clunk and rattle quite a bit. Rally gamers, take heed. Why are we recommending the G29 over the considerably newer G923? Well, the G29 is essentially the exact same thing as the G923, only without Logitech's recent TrueForce technology. TrueForce is a layer of haptic feedback extracted from the physics and audio packages of certain supported racing games that delivers some extra sensations and vibrations to the wheel rim and into your hands. The result does feel richer in comparison, and the G923 bundle also replaces the rubber stopper on its brake with a progressive spring, which helps hard braking firm up nicely without the stopper's 2-stage effect, but the general whine TrueForce adds does make the wheel even noisier. Unless you can find one discounted to closer to the price of a G29, the price bump isn't really worth it. Number 3. Moza R3. Moza's first Xbox-compatible racing wheel is the latest addition to the company's increasingly extensive sim racing ecosystem, and we've reviewed it. It's a complete, ready-to-race set that will put you behind a direct drive wheel that's only marginally more expensive than much older, non-direct drive bundles like the Moza R3, which boast basically the same amount of torque, but are belt-driven. The brushed metal rim has a polyurethane wrapping that looks a little cheap but feels fine and suitably grippy during use. Importantly, the core benefit of the R3 over its belt-driven, mid-price range competitors is that it's direct drive, so force feedback is smooth, silent, and instant. The effect really is night and day, and it's very hard to go back to gear or belt-driven alternatives after using direct drive. It's also extremely upgradable. Xbox compatibility is baked into the wheel itself, which is called the Moza ESX wheel and is now available separately, so you can move up to other wheel bases later on, like the R9 or R12, which are far more powerful, and will still attach to the same table clamp that comes with the R3. Snap on your wheel via Moza's excellent and rigid quick-release system, and bam, it'll still work on your Xbox. The pedals can also be upgraded, although the bundled pedals are all metal and extremely sturdy. Just keep in mind that, at this price point, resistance in the bundled pedals is provided by springs and input is determined by Hall effect sensors that are detecting the position of the pedals rather than the force you're applying to them. One thing to note is that Moza add-ons, like the standalone shifters and handbrake, are currently not compatible with most Xbox racing games. Number 4. Hori Mario Kart Racing Wheel Pro Deluxe. The Hori Mario Kart Racing Wheel Pro Deluxe is a low-end racing wheel that makes use of elastic resistance to add weight to the wheel as you turn. The effect is very toy-like but may be sufficient for kids and beginners to have some fun once they get a feel for it, which can be a little tricky at first because it doesn't really feel anything like an actual steering wheel and it's easy to overcorrect. Reduce the rotation range if you find you're struggling to stay in a straight line. The pedal set is very small, but the fact that they're naturally analog makes the pedals a step up over the strictly digital triggers on Switch Joy-Con. The selection of serious racing games may be a little slim on Switch, but this is a highlight for stuff like the excellent Grid Autosport. Best Nintendo Switch Racing Wheel is an easy title to win in what's essentially a one-horse race but, to be fair, the Nintendo Switch is not really the console of choice for racing sim connoisseurs. Either way, if you absolutely must own a Nintendo Switch wheel, choose this one over the Hori Mario Kart Mini, which is a tiny 220mm in diameter and only mounts via suction cups. Number 5. Thrustmaster T300 RS GT. Like the Thrustmaster T300 RS GT is another very old steering wheel that's still available new today. Indeed, it's been on sale since 2025. And the original, non-Gran Turismo branded T300 RS was released in 2025. That's well before the release of Gran Turismo Sport, a game that has since come out and subsequently been delisted. The T300 RS GT relies on belt-driven force feedback, meaning it's not capable of the same level of nuance as you can get in, more expensive, direct drive systems, but it delivers a sturdy level of feedback without the louder clatter you get in its cheaper Logitech competitors. The 280mm metal wheel itself is typically sized and, while the rubber coating isn't as nice as the leather-wrapped Logitech options, it's appropriately grippy. The included 3-pedal set doesn't feature load cell pedals, but it does come with an effective enough rubber stopper mod to mount behind the brake pedal and add resistance to the last moment of pedal travel. With its advanced age, and with direct drive wheels coming down in price, the T300 RS GT is admittedly a slightly outmoded option in 2025. It is PC compatible, but it definitely shouldn't be your first choice for PC these days considering the aggressive prices of the entry-level direct drive Moza options. However, with no direct drive options on PlayStation at its price point, the T300 RS GT remains a very serviceable choice.